Well, what's happening and welcome back to the channel. So last week's episode sort of became a bit invalid a few hours after it went up when Hamzat Chimaev missed weight and all the UFC 279 was sort of flipped upside down and all the matchups that were broke down ended up being changed. So with all the madness that happened last week, this card's kind of flying under the radar and it's a matchup that I'm really excited for. And we'll have Cory Sandhagen taking on Song Yadong. I really like watching Cory Sandhagen. He's really dynamic. He's a great mover, switches stance really well, really unorthodox, good fight IQ, and he's taken on the real powerhouse puncher in Song Yadong, who's on a bit of a tear at the minute, coming off a couple of knockout finishes, and he's a really dangerous fighter. So I'm excited for this matchup, and I'm excited to get into this breakdown, and hopefully everybody makes weight, and on Saturday this card goes ahead. So we haven't seen Cory Sandhagen in about a year. He's coming off those last two losses in his last two fights against TJ Dillashaw and against Peter Yan. So 2 5-round fights against high level competition. And to be honest, I think he aced it against TJ. If you look at those two at the end of the fight, you can see who scored more damage. Yes, TJ had the control time, but I really think that Cory aced it, especially in terms of damage. And then he took the short notice title fight against Peter Yan, who is one of the scariest guys in the division, and he looked great against him. And against TJ, he looked great as well. So he's shown that he can be up there with these guys. And then with taking this year off, I only think he's going to improve. With back-to-back camps and fights back-to-back, you're never really getting a chance to work on your weaknesses. And I think with him taking this year off, that's exactly what he's going to do, is he's going to work on his weaknesses, and we're going to see a better, more well-rounded Cory Sandhagen. You've got number 4 taking on number 10. Yes, so it's a big step up for Song Yadong, but he is so dangerous, and we're going to look into here how I think both of them can win this fight. So let's pull up a tail of the tape. We've got 14-4 for Cory against 19-6-1 for Song Yadong. So a lot of fights, even though Song is only 24 years old. So a lot of fights, even though he's still only at the very beginning of his career. Even though Cory's 30 and has less fights, I think he has had more high-level experience going against the likes of TJ, Yan, Moraes as well. He's had more main event experience and tougher fights, more 5-round experience. So I think that yes, he's had less fights, but I do think that they're evenly matched in terms of experience, and Song would be still quite young in his career. Cory has the reach advantage and the height advantage. In their last 4, Cory's 2-2, coming off the knockout win over Frankie Edgar and then the knockout on Marlon Moraes, and then we mentioned his last 2 losses. Song is 3-1, again coming off 2 knockout wins, a split decision win over Casey Kenny, and then he had a decision loss. Where we're really going to see the difference here in the tail of the tape, and which was half down here, is Cory is a big time switcher. He switches stance all the time. He's constantly moving, where Song Yadong is more orthodox and kind of wades in and wanes up. And I think that that's where we're really going to see the difference in this fight, is Cory's movement versus Song's power. So let's get into the technical notes. Cory is definitely the more technical fighter. He's going to be more the volume guy, where you've got Song Yadong, who is more of the big puncher. He's going to put you out with either hand, and mostly with his hands as well. Cory's going to use more probe and poke at you, whereas Song is going to really wind up, and when he gets close to you, he's going to really let the hands go. So I'll just have a wee look here at my notes. So Cory again is so dynamic, you don't know what's going to come. He can fly up the middle, he can spin from different angles, which we've seen. He's constantly moving and shaking you left and right, looking to set you up so that you're going to follow him, so that he can fly up the middle, like we've seen that he done against Frankie Edgar. So when Song is trying to cut him off, he needs to be very careful, because he's not looking to just escape and get out to the side. He's looking to peel you left and right and shake you all about, to try and square you up so that he can fly up the middle. So I think Song's going to have to be very, very careful of that. Just have another wee look here and see all the stuff. He's always switching stances, like I've mentioned, and always switching the angle. Even during combinations, he'll be popping jabs, and then he's in southpaw, and then he'll slip and he moves off and he's back to orthodox. So it's very hard to pin him down. It's very hard to get a read on him. It's very hard to know what's going to come next with him, and I think that that's going to really play into this game as well, where Song's more of the orthodox, moving forward, punches, kicks kind of guy. He doesn't use a lot of feints. He doesn't probe his way in. He's not using stance changes or anything like that. I think in terms of MMA striking, the Cory is the better MMA striker, but he needs to be on his game the whole time. I think this, like I said, that this year off is really going to help him level up. You just can't improve when you're doing back-to-back camps, especially whenever you're going against top level guys. You're going to be focused on what they're probably doing well and what you're already doing well, and how then you can adapt that. There's no time to really learn new things in a 6-week camp, and even if you do learn new things, you're not going to be that great at them, and to implement them into your game in 6 to 8 weeks is just simply not enough time. I think what's going to set the difference between the two as well is Song's power. He's definitely more powerful, and he is so dangerous. When he gets close to you, he absolutely lets the hands go in big combinations, and if he catches you with even one of them at the end of the combination included, it could be lights out. And I think that's where Cory's going to have to stay switched on the whole time. And one thing that we'll see in the clips here that I'm going to show in a second is that sometimes Cory can switch off, especially on the stance changes when he thinks he's a little bit further away than what he is and he thinks he's out of range. He can kind of tend to switch off, which is something that he's going to have to be very, very careful with against Song Yadong, because when he gets close, he explodes, and he explodes really, really hard. So we'll just pull up some clips here, and one thing I want to talk about right away is how good Cory Sandhagen is at getting into the hand fighting battle. He is so good at getting people into playing this game of fighting with the hands, and he uses it to set up so much of his attacks, from his punches to his kicks to his knees as well. But he's also so good at controlling their hands and taking their offense away, and then being able to use that then to control the space between him, and it really helps him stay defensively safe as well. Although we're going to look at some mistakes that he does make with it, which actually kind of gets him caught a little bit as well. But it's something that I really like that he does, is how he gets people into this hand fighting game that only one person really knows what they're doing in, and it's him. So we'll have a look at this clip where he does it Yan. So he's going to take control of Yan's lead hand here and then step in with a straight punch, which is going to win him a lot of space, and again takes away Yan's jab. So I'll just have a quick look here. So we'll let it play. You see here he's got control of the hand, and he's going to step in southpaw and throw the straight shot. So we'll just have a quick look here and we'll let it roll. I'll just take this off for you. Lands that nice straight jab, and then straight away he's getting out of there, moving off, changing stance again. Nice front kick to the body. We'll just let this clip play on. He's always moving, pulling you left and right, not just going in straight lines, feinting, giving you different looks, again controlling the hand. So here he goes to do the same thing again. So he takes control of the hand and controls the wrist, and then he goes to step forward. Yan is aware of it this time, but it completely gets him to reset. So we'll have another look here. So you can see he's reaching for the hand here. He's going to take control of it, take that off, and then he goes to step in with the shot, and Yan disengages, and he gets him a lot of space, which is again winning 10 seconds at a time, getting him the space. And you don't always have to be looking for the big knockout shot. So we'll just let these clips play on here. So here you see he's controlling the hand again, and then he's going to throw a nice wee shot around the corner here. Boop. Something so simple, but again, that wee shot, as you look here, it's got Yan to disengage, and look at this space now that he has in between them. So something so simple, so basic. It's not all about the big combo of the day. It's about these wee small things that he does really well, which I think is going to play a big part in this fight. So we'll just let it play on here. Always using feints. So in this clip here, he tries to use a little bit more long guard and then mixes up the attack on different parts of the body. So we'll have another wee look. He's popping. There we go. Just want to have a wee look here. Look at this. More like a long guard here. We'll just slow this down. And then from here, level change feint, pops the jab, gets Yan back into the long guard game, playing with the hands, inside leg kick. So really, really good. He's always playing with those hands, getting you into this game, and like you've seen there, while he's doing that, Yan's not throwing. And I think that's very important to note in what we're going to look at in this fight, because Yan's always feinting and moving and changing stance himself. So if someone who's just going to stand there in front of him, a bit more like Song Yadong, this could play into a little bit more of a factor. So as you see here in this clip, it really helps him stay elusive. He's controlling the hand, he's able to read the space and get out of the way. Yan misses all of those shots, misses them all again. Sandhagen's going to move again out to his right, never moving straight lines. probing, controlling the hands, and allow him to get out of there and staying elusive and taking little to no damage there. So this is where he needs to be careful on those big explosions and getting out. But if he controls the range and when he's on his game and he's switched on, he actually does it very, very well. So we'll let the clips play on a little bit here. So you see against Martin Moraes, he uses the hand controls to set up a nice body shot and again to control the range. So we'll have a look here. He's controlling the hand and rips in for a nice body shot there. Still, and then he's out of the way. Bang, and then he's on the leg. So what I think we need to be careful of, and what we're going to see in this clip here, is that he switches off a little bit whenever he thinks he's out of range, and that can leave him a bit exposed on his right hand side and leaves him a little bit open to left hooks and left overhands and things like that, which you're going to see here that Jan was able to use with him. So he thinks he's out of range and he's kind of switching off and reaching for the hand. So we'll just bring this back a little bit. So I'm just getting used to all this Telestrator stuff. So you see here, he's kind of reaching for the hands. His hand position's away from his face, and it's just leaving him exposed for that big shot to come up there. And you'll see here, he gets caught with it again, reaching, going back. It's caught the left hand again, and nearly again here. So again, this is something that I want to look at. When he lands great shots, very dynamic, unorthodox, and we've looked at that. But then he kind of switches off after he throws. And we'll see here against Jan, he's going to go for a lovely step-in elbow, off controlling the hand again. He's always doing that. So we'll just let this play. Oh, so here we go. Step-in elbow, lovely. But then he kind of switches off here. So look at this, both hands down, completely switched off, and his feet square. So before he can get a chance to get his base back, Jan's going to explode and come in here and catches him a couple of big shots. And especially with that, we'll just go back and have a look at this. This type of combination is what he needs to be careful of. This exploding forward, shifting stance, changing the power side from side to side is something that Song Yadong does really well. And if he switches off and any of these land, it could be a short night. I do think Song Yadong is a harder puncher than Jan. Jan's the kind of guy who'll chip away at you and break you down over 5 rounds or 3 rounds, whereas Song Yadong's a one punch, you're unconscious, shadow realm kind of guy. So he really, really needs to be careful in them exchanges. And as we see here, this is what Song Yadong likes to do. He likes to explode forward with these shifting stance sort of combos and come flying at you. But like I mentioned, the key difference that you're going to see in here is that Song Yadong doesn't feint, doesn't really probe his way in. He kind of wades his way in. So we'll have a look here so that you can see this. So we'll just knock it back so that you're able to see here. Just a wee bit beyond the combination starting. So he just kind of walks his way in and then puts his head down and throws. And this putting the head down with no setup and throwing against Cory Sandhagen could be very dodgy. His knees can come up the middle here, and that could be a short night for Song Yadong. So I think he really needs to be careful with these. And as you see here with Arce, he's able to outmove him just because he's winding up on them big shots and he's able to get out here. Same again, he's putting the head down and winding up, but he really needs to be careful of that, because as we're going to see here, in the middle of a combination, those knees are going to come flying up through the middle. We know that Sandhagen loves to throw knees either in the middle of combinations or if it's pulling you around the side of the cage and then exploding up with it. So as we're going to see here against Jan, he's coming in with good shots, controlling the hands, and then whoop, that knee's coming straight up. And then as we see here against TJ, he landed a lovely knee doing this similar sort of thing. So I think if Song's going to put his head down and try and fly in here, it could be fairly risky for him, especially against Sandhagen. So let's let this play on here. So you see here against Yadong as well, he loves to throw that uppercut, and if he lands it on you, you could be unconscious. Like we see against Marlon Moraes here, he gets caught just lovely in those exchanges. I really think that Sandhagen needs to hit, move and get out. he can't be in these big exchanges, trading shots with Song Yadong, who's just going to keep this high guard here, like we see. And when you get close, he's just going to load up and let go. So here, as he comes in, he's just coming up, bang, hard uppercut, and he is out. And for a bantamweight, like, that is hard punches to put somebody out like that. So we'll see here, I just wanted to include this wee clip against Kyler Phillips. You seen he almost landed that uppercut, and this is a couple of seconds after it, where Phillips does a lovely read. And again, if Sandhagen's going to start seeing Yadong wade in and wind up, and this is a perfect example of him doing that, I think this is where the knees coming up the middle is really going to play a part. So we'll just let this play here, and I'll show you. So if we watch, I'll just do it nice and slow. Look at the way Yadong's coming in here with his feet. His feet are crossed here at this point, and he's just wading and just walking in here, which is allowing Phillips just to set his base. And we're going to see here, Yadong just tries to wind up and go for the big uppercut again, but Phillips is able to get there first. And again, if he's trying to plant his feet and come up with these uppercuts or shots over the top, I think the knees coming up the middle could definitely play a factor of Sandhagen. So look at that, great shot, hand back to the chin and out of there. Basic, but basic wins. So here we're looking at Sandhagen again, and the flying knee, and this is where he needs to be careful, and using his feints and his hand controls to set stuff up. And see here, he landed a lovely inside leg kick on those hands, changing stance, staying elusive, and he misses this inside leg kick, and you see there, just here, this wee bounce, Marlon Moraes completely resets, and straight away Sandhagen's going to take advantage of that with the feint, and boom, and takes him out. So I just want to have a quick look here at Song Yadong and what can happen if you do let him get close, if you get into these exchanges with him. And this is where this is something again that I would like to see him using here. With Cory's movement and how he moves left and right, I do think that if he starts chasing him with punches, he's going to miss him a lot and he's going to get tired. And over 5 rounds, that could definitely play a factor. But what I would like to see is him do what he done here and use his kicks first to set up the punches. If he can kick first, that might stop Cory and set him in front of him, where then he can let the hands go, like we see that he does here. So he breaks off and he gets a lovely head kicked across here that just sets him right in the path. And when he lands on you, it is good night. And if he senses blood in the water, he is going to pounce. So it really is a case of the volume mover against the power puncher. I think the non-setups and non-jabs and no feints from Song Yadong is going to mean that he's going to miss a lot against Cory, but I think that Cory needs to stay switched on the whole time. I'm excited to see the improvements that he's going to have made in this camp, but I'm also excited to see how he's going to handle the power puncher in Song Yadong. Before we get into the predictions and things like that, I just want to have a quick look at the style stats. So both of them have a fairly similar average fight time. Cory with 10:38 and 10 minutes for Song Yadong. Both have 3 wins by sub, 6 wins by KO for Cory, and 8 for Song Yadong. 8 wins by decision for Song Yadong, for 5 for Cory. Only 1 loss by sub for Cory and none for Song Yadong. We've seen that then in Cory's fight against Aljo. It was a very, very quick fight, number 1 contender fight, where then Aljo then went on to win the belt. Win the belt from Peter Yan in the first fight. No losses by KO for Cory, only the 1 for Song Yadong. Significant strikes per minute, we know that Cory's the more volume guy, 6.42 to 4.92 for Song Yadong. He definitely hasn't got a low output either, but we know Cory's more the volume guy. The takedown average, 0.71 to 0.45, so Song Yadong's going for less than half a takedown per fight. I really don't expect either guy to grapple in this, although we might see some grappling from Cory with this time off. He might have added some more grappling skills and might want to show them off in the fight, so you never know, but I don't expect there to be much grappling in this fight. So in terms of my prediction, I kind of think that Cory's going to outpoint him. I think he's going to outmove him. I think he's going to be too slick for him, a little bit too fast for him, and has a better fight IQ. I think though the way Song Yadong wades in and winds up, Cory's going to see that, have that a bit under control, and is hopefully going to be out of the way. Although if he's not out of the way or he switches off even for a second, I think that Song's going to put him out. He seems like the kind of guy who's going to carry his power right through to the 5th round. Although if he is missing a lot against Cory, we could start to see his power going down a bit. In terms of betting odds, I think Cory is coming in at the favourite. If I was putting a bet on, I would either go Cory for decision or Song knockout. It's going to be one of those ones. Cory could sneak in a knockout there as well, especially if Song leaves himself exposed, flying into the pocket. He doesn't cut the cage off very well, and kind of, like I said, kind of wades in. So I think that may play into Cory's hands. So let me know your thoughts on the episode. Let me know what your thoughts on who you think's going to win this week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.